Money, a social following, a side hustle, a creative outlet. Woof. I was so wrong about the best parts of starting a YouTube channel. After years of being a consumer on YouTube, I had these specific ideas about what I thought would be the benefits of turning into a creator and having my own channel. After 7 months of creating though, I now realize how off my expectations were when it comes to the benefits that I thought that I would receive, in addition to what really motivates me to keep going. That's what I want to go over with you today. 3 factors that I mistakenly thought would be the benefits of starting a channel, and then the top 3 ways that my life has actually changed as a result of starting on YouTube. Let's start off with what I thought would be the 3 main benefits. There's no doubt that significant money can be made from YouTube. After all, it's the second largest search engine after Google, the second largest social media platform after Facebook, and there are 2.3 billion monthly users. But call me naive, because I was 100% naive on this. I figured that it would be relatively easy to be able to get to a place of monetizing on YouTube. Maybe it would take a few months and an hour or 2 of work each and every day, but with those, I'd be able to have this as a viable side hustle, but focus on the side. I had no real idea of the time, the effort, and the patience that it would take to be able to get there. And full disclosure, I'm still not at a place where I'm making any money from YouTube yet. In case you don't know or you've never looked it up before, to be able to monetize on YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And those numbers didn't seem particularly high to me. After all, most of the videos that showed up on my suggestion on my feed had thousands or millions of views, in addition to those channels having maybe just as many subscribers. But the reality is, having 1,000 subscribers is difficult in and of itself. On average, it takes channels 152 videos. 152 videos to be able to reach that point. Not only that, unless you have a background in videography, script writing, or you have one of those 1 in a million personalities that really translates with people through a small mobile screen, it's going to take 10 or 20 or 30 hours of work, seriously, to be able to make one video. And then you do that over and over and over and over again for months just to be able to get to a place where your channel starts to grow. Now, I'm not trying to be a downer here. Actually, there is something beautiful about the amount of time and effort that it takes to be able to grow a YouTube channel. Something like the sweeter, the greater the reward whenever the struggle and the effort is higher to be able to get there. But for me, making money, it was not going to be able to stay as a main why I was going into YouTube. It wasn't going to be able to stay as a main driver for me, because if that was the case, I probably would have quit already by now. There are many creators whose videos I absolutely love and who I've become a fan of over the years. Whenever I go to their videos, I see the comment sections littered with fans who know so much about their lives and who are following all the things that they do and seemingly are waiting on every single word that they say. If I'm being honest, I've wanted a similar sort of loyal following. And I know, it sounds so ridiculous whenever I say that out loud, but that's the truth. One of the benefits that I thought of starting a YouTube channel would be to be able to build a real social following. What I did not realize though, until a few months ago, is that the persona that we see online are just a sliver of who those people are in reality. Derek Sivers puts it really well in his book, Hell Yeah or No, when he's talking about other people commenting about him online. They weren't talking about me. They were talking about a cardboard cutout that looked like me. A little online avatar that has the same name as me, but is not me. All people know is what I've chosen to show them. Anyone who watches one of my videos, including you, the beautiful human who's watching this right now, is only seeing a certain version of me. That's how it is with all creators online, whether it's a writer, a podcaster, a YouTuber, etc. Similar to the point on money, this sort of following may or may not happen for me, but I know that it won't be able to be a sustaining factor for me to continue moving forward. It's just not a strong enough why. It 100% takes creativity to be able to make a quality YouTube video and to grow a channel. I'm not disputing that at all. In fact, the creativity of some of my favorite creators in the videos that they make absolutely blows my mind. However, I found it personally difficult to be able to use YouTube as a truly creative outlet because of all the analytics that are so readily available. There are the obvious ones, like the number of subscribers you have or the number of views that you get for a video. But each video can be broken down into so many different parts. You can find out when exactly most people clicked off at a certain point of the video. You can figure out how many people clicked on a video after seeing it suggested on their feed, and many more like that. For some, this may not be a problem, but for me it's been a real struggle because my opinion on a video has been skewed, both for better or for worse, based on the reception of others. It's changed from the time that I've created it up until it was released solely because of an opinion of someone else of which I have no control. Maybe it's too idealistic, but if this were truly about the creativity for me, I wouldn't care at all about how a video was received because the joy would all come from the process itself, from the actual bit of creation. Maybe it's something that I need to work on because I have a lot of trouble divorcing my judgment of a thing from its reception. And in that realization, I've realized that there are better ways for me to scratch that creative itch. Mostly, it would be in creating videos that are either not released to others or are released in a way that the metrics are not so readily available. Then I would truly know that it wasn't about being able to have any sort of outcome other than the creation process itself. Okay, so those were the areas where I was mistaken about the why of starting a YouTube channel. But there have been real benefits that I've seen in my life that are directly caused from starting to make these videos. Here are the top 3. This is, hands down, without a doubt, no questions asked, the best part of making YouTube videos that I have found thus far. And honestly, it's not even close. Many of the people with whom I keep in regular contact via Zoom chats were complete strangers to me just 7 months ago. These are people who were living in different parts of the world, living completely different lives, and if I had never started on this journey, I almost certainly would have never met them. Whenever these relationships started, it was almost exclusively about YouTube. What's your growth strategy with YouTube? What's your history with YouTube? What are your struggles with YouTube? YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. But over time, those discussions have transitioned to mostly talking about different ideas and also about the happenings and struggles of our personal lives. Through hours spent talking, I've gotten to know about their histories, the things that matter to them, their goals, their dreams, and their aspirations. Essentially, I've gotten to know them as people first and creators second. With a few, I've even created a collaboration video, which was easily my favorite and the most fun video that I've made yet. And all of this culminated in me being able to meet in person with so many of them whenever I made a trip to London last week. It was the first time that I had seen each of them in person, but it was as though we've known each other for years. We spent hours over coffee, lunch, and dinner talking about all sorts of neat topics. Creating and growing is a ton of fun, but to me, life is about the people with whom you get to spend it. I wouldn't have made it this far in my creative journey without the friends that I've made along the way, and it's only creating with them that I'm going to be able to continue this for the foreseeable future. The second major benefit has to do with how I live my everyday. For almost my entire life, I've been mostly a consumer. Now, this would have to do with how I would consume physical goods, like always thinking about what's the next thing I want to buy. But it also affected the way that I spent my days. It wouldn't be uncommon for me to spend all evening binging a new Netflix show, or watching a YouTube video, or scrolling through social media. And a large reason for this is because of my mindset. I told myself, I am not creative. But whenever I started to make YouTube videos, and I know this is going to sound a little bit dramatic, everything changed. Instead of passively consuming what was going on around me, I started becoming an active participant in my life. I started to pay more attention. And whenever I started looking and seeking for those ideas, I ended up seeing them everywhere. Whenever I read a book, multiple video ideas would come up from a passage that before I would have quickly glossed over. When I had a conversation with friends, little comments that one of us would say would be the spark for a new essay I'd write. Whenever I watched YouTube videos, I would pay attention to aspects that I would want to try myself. Not only that, I was more bold in experimenting with life, and I started taking risks to be able to live out a story, one that I'd be able to experience myself, but then also share with others in the form of a video. And the overall result of all of this is that I've been living my life so much more fully in the present. After all, the present is all that we actually have. I came into this journey expecting to be motivated by the growth of subscribers and view count. But maybe because those haven't yet come, it's been these areas of personal growth that most people cannot even see that have been the most fruitful for me thus far. I've grown in that I can now put myself out there to the world and experiment in different parts of my life with little regard for how others are going to perceive me. A lot of that actually comes about because most people are not even thinking about us most of the time, and that is an absolutely beautiful thing. I've grown in my propensity to be able to take risks in my personal life, something that I really wasn't doing much of before, because now I realize that very little growth happens without a little bit of skin in the game. And even in those times where I fail, there's still a story and a lesson that I'm able to gather from it that otherwise I probably would have just suppressed. I've grown to be able to understand what lights me up in life and where I actually want to spend my time. Before, I would default to what everybody else around me was doing, but now I say no to many more things in pursuit of what actually matters to me. And I've grown to have way more patience, which has drastically, positively affected every single part of my life. And all of these have come because I sit in front of this camera and I put videos out on the internet. Absolutely wild. Overall, this journey, like most others in life, has turned out very differently than I initially expected. The reasons why I started making YouTube videos 7 months ago are very different than the reasons that I continue to do so today. And maybe they're even going to change drastically by this time next year. It goes to show that it's only by doing that we can find real clarity in our minds and in our lives. Doing, action, it takes these assumptions that we have and turns them into realizations that we can actually use. Without a doubt, my life has changed because of YouTube, and I believe that the same thing is possible for anyone else out there. Yeah, including you who's watching this right now. If you've had even an inkling of wanting to try it out, wanting to get started, I encourage you to give it a shot. I mean, at the end of the day, what do you have to lose? If you're struggling to get started, I encourage you to check out one of these videos up here, which contain the best lessons that help me actually get started. And if you do decide to start, let me know down in the comments or reach out to me in any other way you know how to reach me. I'm excited to see what you end up creating and the lessons that you end up learning as well. Now, if this sort of content vibes with you, I'd encourage you to hit the subscribe button for more so that we continue this journey together. Either way, I'm sending you so much love, my friends. I hope that today you have the best day ever. Bye now.